Hey, how's it going, everyone? My name's Grant Cohn. I want to talk about the 49ers for the next maybe half hour. Uh, it's the Christmas break. Niners didn't play today, kind of a day off, but we got like an hour break between now and the next game. So I figured you guys might want to talk Niners. So if you have any questions, go ahead. But I have like 5 topics I want to get through that I've been thinking about all day. So if you don't have topics, that's cool. First topic I want to talk about is the major takeaway from this win against Arizona, because right now I feel like people already don't get it. What happened yesterday? I'm reading, I'm listening. Everything I hear about this game yesterday is that it was all about CJ Beathard. That CJ Beathard is the reason the Niners beat Arizona. And if the Niners had just switched to CJ Beathard earlier, they would have won a bunch more games. And he is the story. No. It's disappointing that so many people watch football, analyze it for a living, and really all they can say is it's all about the quarterback every time. CJ Beathard wasn't even the top 3 takeaways from this game against Arizona. He was fine. But the takeaway was Kyle Shanahan. First of all, the MVP was the running back. And the reason the running back was the MVP is because Kyle Shanahan made him the MVP. Jeff Wilson Jr. has been good for a long time. He hasn't gotten opportunities because he's been buried on the depth chart and because Kyle Shanahan can be a little pass happy. In this game, he committed to the run game. He established it early on. He let Jeff Wilson Jr. pound Arizona into submission. He kept feeding him. The guy ran for 180 yards. That's why the Niners won. End of story. The story is Jeff Wilson Jr. and Kyle Shanahan. I was talking all week about, you know what? This turnover issue that's been going on for 4 years with the Niners is not just a fluke. Kyle Shanahan, there are things he can do to reduce the turnovers. We know Kyle Shanahan watches the show. He's a big fan of the quality control meetings. He's a faithful attendee. He takes notes. He listens. He did the things that I said. He made his game plan much more conservative against Arizona. They were not trying to win the game on offense. They were trying to run the ball and complement the defense. And with the exception of about 1, maybe 2 drives, Kyle Shanahan executed that to perfection. It was the most mature performance of his career, maybe as a head coach. Maybe not his most flashy. His offense only scored 20 points, should have scored 27. Robbie Gould was missed 7 points, but he did it all with backups. He complemented his defense. He let the defense be the star of the day. He let Jeff Wilson Jr. be a star when that guy should have been getting touches like that last year. So the change was Kyle. Kyle could have done this last week. Kyle could have done this all season. If he had committed to calling more runs than passes every week, if he had committed to getting Jeff Wilson Jr. that involved in the offense every week he was healthy, the Niners would have a better record. I'm not saying they'd be going anywhere. They do have a lot of injuries and they wouldn't make any noise in the playoffs. But if we're splitting hairs about how many wins they should have, it's because of Kyle, not because of CJ Beathard. This was a flawless game plan from Kyle Shanahan. And what was it? A whole lot of runs for Jeff Wilson Jr., mixed in with some play action passes to tight ends and running backs, low percentage stuff. What Kyle did was he avoided straight dropbacks as much as possible. That's no play action, no deception, just drop back, everyone block, people get open, make a throw, don't drop the ball. So many things can go wrong on a straight drop back. Really, Kyle Shanahan can't manufacture anything. Kyle Shanahan is great at manufacturing open receivers, time to throw. He can do that with his run game, with his play action passing. But when it's a straight drop back, there's no deception. It's just block people and throw and catch. And that's not what the Niners do well. It's not any one person's fault. But if they do a lot of straight dropbacks, they'll execute the play maybe 50% of the time. Which is why when Kyle Shanahan temporarily lost his mind and almost gave points to Arizona before the half, I'm thinking, what are you doing? You got your 3rd string quarterback. You have this terrible offensive line. You're winning. You're trying to lead a 2-minute drill with 30 seconds left. You didn't even try to lead the 2-minute drill in the Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo. But you got CJ Beathard in. You're like, all right, let's do it. It's like, okay, well, how many plays is it going to take before something bad happens? Play number 3 should have been a pick 6. Play number 4 was a fumble. So other than that, where Shanahan just like forgot what the objective was, he was fantastic. Protecting his quarterback, featuring the run game, complementing his defense, not losing it with his offense. It was a big step in the right direction for him. If he can do this consistently, the Niners will have winning records every season. I'm not saying they'll win the Super Bowl every season. That's going to depend on their injuries and their quarterback and all kind of stuff like that. But Shanahan, if he can just be a mature game manager like this, like he was in this game, that's the major takeaway. It was a big step in the right direction for Kyle Shanahan. Now, people can't see that because everyone locally, fans and media, already have crowned him the next Bill Walsh, Bill Belichick in one. So there's no room for improvement for Kyle Shanahan. He always is great. Everything he does is perfect. And to say that actually he improved, he did something better than normal is blasphemous. It means that he wasn't perfect beforehand. And people take that the wrong way. The takeaway is, Kyle, every gripe I had leading up to the game about his over-aggressiveness, recklessness, he addressed and showed, you know what? You doubt me, I can rise to the occasion. I really am that good. I have nothing but respect for Kyle Shanahan. If he keeps coaching like this, he is going to be he's going to have nothing but winning seasons, and he's going to be here as long as he wants. So forget the CJ Beathard narrative. It's not about him. So we've seen CJ Beathard commit a ton of turnovers. We've seen Jimmy Garoppolo commit a ton of turnovers. Every quarterback on this team has had games like Nick Mullins had the last month. Shanahan has the power to prevent that, especially when you got this run game and this defense. You don't have to be too aggressive on offense. I know some of you think I'm way too conservative what I suggest on Twitter, but I'm just making a point. You know, you can be conservative with this run game and this defense. You're allowed to, and Kyle got it against Arizona. It was great. Winning 20-12. When does he ever win like that? That's a Harbaugh score. 20-12. Honestly, that's a Harbaugh score. Didn't even get to 21 points. Like, should have had 27, of course, but still, I really liked it. Good stuff from Kyle Shanahan. Let's keep going. Let's talk about Jeff Wilson Jr., who really matters. Jeff Wilson Jr. is really good. Remember, I went on and on and on and on and on about Raheem Mostert this offseason, and I love Raheem Mostert, but we learned more about Raheem Mostert. He may not be the most durable running back. He didn't get many reps when he was younger. He finally became a starter this year and got hurt. Maybe it was a fluke or maybe not. He's going to be 29 in April. He's not young. He's still kind of fresh. But to think that you can just run it back next year and make him the starter and things will go different and you can give him 200, 250, 300 carries and he'll be great, I don't know. I'm starting to think that maybe Kyle was right about Raheem Mostert in 2019. That he's best suited as the guy off the bench, the change of pace back, who still is a major factor in your offense, still gets at least 10 carries a game. And depending on how he's running, he gets more. If he's pulling an NFC Championship game against Green Bay, he gets 25. But the idea is he is the speed back. It's nice to have a starter who's more powerful and kind of wears down the defense and makes Mostert even more effective, more dangerous. That was supposed to be Tevin Coleman. It's not. Tevin Coleman freaking stinks, and we know that. But Jeff Wilson Jr. is kind of like what Kyle Shanahan wanted Tevin Coleman to be. They have that guy. His name is Jeff Wilson Jr. Use him in the way that they tried to use Tevin Coleman last year. I think coming into next year, they think, I'm going to answer questions, but I got stuff I want to talk about. And if you don't like it, sorry. It's my show. Start your own. All right. Jeff Wilson, I think he can be a bell cow for this team. I think they can think of him as a guy who starts next season and gets 15 to 20 carries a game, which is a huge deal for the 49ers because they're built on their running backs. Their running backs have to be fantastic for this team to go anywhere. They're not built on the quarterback running the ball. They're not built on pass protection. Their pass protection stinks. Their running backs have to be terrific. And if this Jeff Wilson Jr. didn't step up, you can't rely on Raheem Mostert. They're in a situation where you'd have to spend a second-round pick on a running back or a third-round pick on a running back. God forbid. That's always a bad move. So now they have a guy, Jeff Wilson Jr., who can be that guy. Now you don't have to draft a running back at all next year. Now, in my opinion, Niners have the best starting running back in the NFC West. I prefer Jeff Wilson Jr. to Chris Carson, Darrell Henderson, Kenyon Drake, all these guys. He runs hard like Chris Carson, but he's faster than Chris Carson. He's a better receiver than Chris Carson. He's a good blocker, and he just turned 25 a month ago. He's young. And you know what else I like about him? I don't know if anyone else has noticed it, but number 30, Terrell Davis's number. He's not Terrell Davis, but he's number 30 in a Shanahan offense, and it kind of looks right. It just kind of looks right. And all I know is when they give him the ball consistently, really good things happen. He was great against New England until he got hurt. He was great against Arizona. As long as he can cut down the fumbles, he could become Kyle Shanahan's Terrell Davis. Now, I don't want to raise expectations too much, but he's a special runner. He was getting 8 yards last night like it was nothing. Like it was easy. So I really like Jeff Wilson Jr. I think he is a huge addition to this team. I have a new topic off the top of my head. I don't have a banner for it. Let me put it on here. It is the next Jeff Wilson Jr. ? Here we go. All right. Is there a next Jeff Wilson Jr.? Is there another guy on the Niners who's just chilling on the bench, who is really good and needs to get more playing time and could really improve this offense? I say hell yeah. I've been saying it for years. I'm sticking with it. Ross Dwelley is the next Jeff Wilson Jr. I could come back to this. I got a question here. Watching from Maryland BTW, now that the Niners have the 14th pick after winning, where do we put our draft picks and who do you have in mind? Kyle Trask. Trade down, Kyle Trask. I'm going to come back to why. But I'm quality control. I'm being consistent. That's who I like. If you want to get a dual threat quarterback and fire Kyle Shanahan and bring in someone who runs shotgun spread RPOs like Cliff Kingsbury, then go ahead and get Justin Fields. But if you want like the traditional under-centered two-back offense that Kyle Shanahan's running right now, then it's Kyle Trask. Zach Wilson is not going to be available, so forget it. I'm going to come back to the quarterbacks in a minute. I will. But real quick, I just want to make a point. The next Jeff Wilson Jr., I think he's on the team. A guy who's a backup but can produce like a starter. Ross Dwelley. He did start a lot. He got 22 targets this year. I think he deserves more. He caught 17 of them. The passer rating when he gets targeted, the Niners quarterback passer rating when he gets targeted is 124.5, tops on the team. He's really good. He has terrific hand-eye coordination. You get him the ball in space, he breaks tackles. He's not George Kittle, but he's similar. He's very good. It seems to me the way that the Niners, the people who should be getting the passes on the Niners next year are the two wide receivers, Debo Ayuk Kittle, Dwelley, Juszczyk. Debo Ayuk Kittle, Dwelley, Juszczyk. That's 5 guys. Jeff Wilson Jr. That's 6. Those 6 guys should lead the team in targets. And then you can also give some to Mostert and Richie James Jr. But that's what you need. You don't need to be giving any more targets to Kendrick Bourne. He drops half of them. Ross Dwelley should take Kendrick Bourne's targets. Kendrick Bourne's not going to be on this team next year. And it's going to be interesting to see what the Niners do. They're using a lot more 2 tight end formations anyway. They like to do formations where Juszczyk is lined up at tight end and then he goes in motion and blocks on the move. If you notice, the Niners use less fullback this year than they have in the past. Much more 2 tight end formations with Juszczyk flexed out. They have different blocking combinations now. I wouldn't be surprised to see more and more Dwelley down. He's about the same age as Jeff Wilson Jr. That's a guy who needs more volume, more input in the offense. Look what happens when Jeff Wilson Jr. gets the ball more than just a little bit. I think Dwelley could be like that too. As a receiver, he's more talented than Kyle Juszczyk. As a receiver, he's bigger, better hands, better after the catch, more secure with the ball. He's a better receiver than Kyle Juszczyk. You could argue that he should be the 4th guy in the pecking order after Kittle, Ayuk, Debo. It should be Dwelley. I mean, Jordan Reed, he's okay. He's kind of old. He's kind of slower than he used to be. Can't block. When he's on the field, you know it's a pass. He can basically only play on 3rd down because he's such a bad blocker. Dwelley at least can stay on the field. Jeff Wilson Jr. is also a very good receiver. Those two those two need to be 4 and 5 on the target distribution list next year. It should be Kittle, Ayuk, and Debo, pretty similar. Basically, Kittle, Ayuk, Debo. Debo gets some carries too that evens out his touches. Dwelly, Wilson, or Wilson, Dwelly. That's the way it should go to me, with a little use check sprinkled in there too when you least expect it. That's how I see it. So one of the things for Shanahan that he's been working on is getting the best players on the field and getting them the ball enough. Jeff Wilson Jr. didn't get the ball enough for like 2 years. Finally, it's like, okay, well, now we need to give this guy 16 touches a game at least. It's clear. Good. Now I think Dwelly's at the point where you need to give him at least four targets a game, at least. So that's all I'm saying. All right, let's keep moving. Hold on. We can talk quarterbacks. I'll talk about Jason Verrett a little bit later. But let's talk quarterbacks. I was promoting Mitchell Trubisky for a long time. I said, look, this is a guy who is failing because he's in the wrong system. You bring him into the Niners system, he would flourish. And the way I look at this, basically two systems in the NFL. There is the conventional under center, Shanahan McVay-ish offense, right? You see it in Cleveland, you see it in Minnesota, and the new age shotgun pistol quarterback running spread college-y style offense that you see in Philly, you see in Baltimore, you see in New England, you see in Chicago until recently, and you see in basically Kansas City, Arizona. So Trubisky, to me, is a really good fit in the Shanahan type offense, the conventional under center play action pass offense. Because why? Because he's big and he has a strong arm and he can throw down the field, and he can hold on to the ball. He has the mobility to hold the ball a long time in the pocket and scramble around behind the line of scrimmage and throw down the field. He's not a good fit in the thing that Doug Peterson's running in Philly, which is what Matt Nagy runs, which is stand in the shotgun all the time and throw little quick passes off little quick play action RPO stuff from the gun. He's not good for that, because the thing with that is those quarterbacks have to be running threats. Because the whole thing is, if you're in the shotgun all the time, where's your run game? If it's just the running back, that's a predictable, soft running game. You know, if he's offset to the right, you know he's running to the left. There's not a whole lot of blocking combinations. There's not a whole lot you can do there. And it stinks. And that's why Matt Nagy's run game always stinks, because you have this shotgun RPO offense where the quarterback is not really built to do that. I mean, he's not going to run 10 times a game. And if he does, he'll get hurt. Trey Lance can do that. Justin Fields can do that. You see it over in Philly. Jalen Hurts can run that much. He's built to run. He's basically built like a running back. If you have a guy like that, that offense is great. But Mitchell Trubisky doesn't do that. He's not that kind of a runner. You have to use it. If you're going to have an offense like that, you've got to use your quarterback as basically a part-time running back. And that's not Trubisky. So all of a sudden, they scrap Matt Nagy's play calling and get Trubisky under center and basically try to have a knockoff Rams offense, and he's good. And they score points. I don't know if he'll win an MVP, but I said he could be Ryan Tannehill in this kind of offense, and he's doing it right now. So that's a long preamble to say that I don't think he's going to be available anymore. Forget Mitchell Trubisky. Is there anyone else, since I was right about that, who kind of fits that criteria that the Niners could take off the scrap heap, who's been made to look like a bum because of the coach and scheme he's in? Well, yeah, Carson Wentz. It's the same exact thing. You see what's happening in Philly. Jalen Hurts is a way better fit for that shotgun offense, because with Wentz back there, there's no run game. You know he's not going to keep it and run the zone read. Maybe we'll do it once a game. Hurts will do it 10 times a game. He'll do it 15 times a game. And that's a full run game you got to stop with a quarterback who could go one way, a running back who could go another way. You got to respect that. Now you don't have a one-dimensional offense anymore. With Wentz in that offense, it's a one-dimensional offense. You have no run game. With Hurts in the offense, it's a full offense. It works. So get Wentz out of there. And I've always said, you put Wentz on Cleveland this year, they'd be doing the same things. They'd be even better. He's a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield. Remember Baker last year, how bad he was? It was the same thing. Freddie Kitchens was trying to run that college spread RPO baloney, making Baker Mayfield stand in the shotgun all the time and throw those little dink and dunk passes, giving him no run game. It doesn't work. Now you just put him under center, give him a running game, let him throw play action passes off of that. Boom. He's got the arm to pull it off. Boom. So yeah, Carson Wentz is another. I don't know if he's beyond repair. But to me, I mean, the injury thing's a little overblown. He hasn't missed that much time. To me, he's a guy who is just lacks confidence, kind of like Trubisky 2 months ago or Alex Smith before Jim Harbaugh got a hold of him. So if they want to get rid of him, I think the Niners can get him, and that may be the thing. Remember, the Niners need more than one quarterback. They need a vet and a rookie and maybe a third guy too. So the vet could be Carson Wentz, and he's really expensive, but the Niners, if you trade him with a post-June 1 designation, he becomes much more movable for Philly. All of a sudden, it would only cost them $9 million in dead cap. That's handled. That they could do that. And then for the Niners, I think he'd be about $25 million against the cap for them, and then I think it would go down about 23 after that in 2022. So he's an option. I wouldn't do it. I just like Kyle Trask. He's young. He's cheap. I believe he's going to be good. I would go that route. But the veteran quarterback the Niners are going to pursue, I think it's going to be Carson Wentz because he has the same situation as Trubisky where he's in the wrong scheme. He's going to do a lot better in a McVay Shanahan type offense. He's available. Shanahan is on record as loving him. I mean, he said it a couple of months ago when they played him that was the best player in the league a few years ago, and he's still the same guy to him, and that all the interceptions and bad stuff is not really his fault. He said that. So I think it's going to be the guy they go after. I don't know if they'll ultimately be able to get him. It'll be probably pretty difficult. But that's going to be the guy they pursue. And you know what? It'll probably work. Carson Wentz in this offense, under center, actually being able to throw downfield off play action. You understand how open guys are in this offense? He can hit. I've seen him in person. That throw he made to Travis Fulgham to beat the 49ers was a dime that went about 60 yards in the air when you count the hypotenuse. It wasn't just deep. It was also to the sideline. It was amazing. He has an amazing arm. It's way stronger than any arm any Niners quarterback has ever had in my lifetime. I mean, he's really athletic. I think Kyle Shanahan, he would be fantastic. There's so much that Shanahan can manufacture for him to make him look good. So that's what I'm thinking. Carson Wentz, since Trubisky may not be the option, look for the Niners to pursue Carson Wentz. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. I'm not, because he's very expensive. They got to find a way to make him cheaper. You can't give up too much in the trade in terms of draft picks, and you got to find a way to get that contract down. Anyway, Wentz, that's who Shanahan's going to want. I bet you. Stafford, too, I just don't see the Lions getting rid of Stafford. I mean, he's good. Wentz is benched. They do not like Wentz in Philly. They want to move on from him. It's just a financial thing. Stafford, everyone likes Stafford. No one's like, hey, Stafford's the problem in Detroit. So I just feel like that's not going to happen. All right, let's keep moving. So what rookie quarterback? This is to me an interesting debate. I've been thinking a lot about these quarterbacks, and I talk about it with you all the time, but I've been updating my thoughts, and I've been very hard on Justin Fields. The more I watch Jalen Hurts, the more I realize there's a place for Justin Fields in the NFL. An athlete like Justin Fields who can run like that, yeah, he can play. He can play right away. The thing about Justin Fields is I don't think he can play in the Niners offense. I just said that whole explanation about the two different types of offenses in the NFL. The college style in Arizona and Baltimore and New England, and the traditional style in San Francisco and LA and Cleveland and Minnesota. Fields is college style. He is not an under center drop back quarterback play action guy, because putting your dual threat quarterback under center doesn't fully take advantage of his legs. It's not fully leveraging his ability to run on every snap, because what are you going to do when he's under center? Are you going to do bootleg? Basically, your options are bootlegs. That's how you could have him run. But if he's not doing bootlegs, what's he doing? Handing off or dropping straight back or scrambling around on his own? That's not his game. I mean, he went to Georgia to, I guess, learn that, to do that, and couldn't beat out Jake Fromm or Jacob Eason. Not his game. So he transferred to Ohio State, or he gets to stand in the shotgun all the time. And he's great. And what's great about putting a dual threat quarterback in the shotgun or the pistol, I mean, the Niners figured this out with Colin Kaepernick. Every single snap, the defense has to account for that guy as a runner. So now you can have a full shotgun offense because the quarterback can run. So if you want to have that offense, Justin Fields is perfect for it. If you want Justin Fields, you need that offense because he's not a polished enough of a passer to just be under center and drop back and throw. He needs to be running 10 zone reads a game. He needs to run 10 to 15 times a game. That has to be a whole part of his game. Maybe down the line, he'll develop into like a traditional quarterback, but I don't think he really will. He needs to be a shotgun. He'd be great in Arizona. He'd be great in Baltimore. He'd be great anywhere that they use quarterbacks like that. Not on the Niners. I just don't see it. It's not how they want. It's not how they want to play quarter. They don't want to be Kyle Shanahan doesn't want to be in the pistol every play. If you have Justin Fields, you better be in the pistol every play for his sake and for your sake. Same thing with Colin Kaepernick. Same thing with Cam Newton. Otherwise, what's the point? And Shanahan did it with RG3, not willingly. He didn't want RG3. Dan Snyder did. So he could do it, but he's made it clear he doesn't want to do it. That's why he said he didn't want Colin Kaepernick. And the thing about Shanahan is I think he was basically telling the truth. I don't want to have a pistol, shotgun, quarterback, run-driven offense. I don't want to do it. It works. It can be done. I've done it. I don't want to do it. I'd rather have a conventional offense. So to me, that rules out Justin Fields. It's not the right place for him, and it's not that he needs to go somewhere else. Zach Wilson would fit. Zach Wilson should not be running 10 zone reads a game in the NFL. He'll break. He's not big enough. He's a guy who can buy some time and scramble. He'd be perfect for the Niners. I mean, if you think he's going to be good, I got questions about that. I wonder about his durability, his playing style. He holds the ball a really long time, and he's going to be presented with some physicality and speed he's never seen before. And I just want to know how many hits he can take in the NFL playing like that. But he's going to be a second pick in the draft. Forget Zach Wilson. He would fit. So really it comes down to Lance and Trask, as we've talked about. Lance is interesting. He played in a pro-style offense at North Dakota State. But if you watch him play, it's all about him running the ball. He runs for like 100 yards a game. And he is a really good runner. He has a good arm, but he's a better runner than passer at this point. And to me, for him, he's a multi-year project. Maybe he could do the Shanahan offense. Maybe he's such an athlete that he could do anything. But he's a multi-year project in this offense. If you put him in an Arizona offense where he can actually run the zone read and be in the pistol and use his legs and leverage the threat of his mobility every single play, you might be able to get him on the field as a rookie. But again, Shanahan doesn't want to do that. I question Shanahan's I just don't think he's going to like Lance. I think he's going to look at Lance and be like, that's another guy who needs to be running a lot to have success in the NFL. And I don't want to construct my offense from the pistol, calling zone read after zone read and having a very pared down, dumbed down offense. I don't think he wants to do it. I think he can, but I don't think he wants to. I think we're looking traditional quarterback here. And so that brings us to guys like Kyle Trask and Mac Jones. And a lot of people like Mac Jones. Mac Jones is the dude from Alabama. I don't think Kyle's going to like Mac Jones. I think Kyle's going to like Kyle Trask as much as I do, and I'll explain why. Kyle doesn't like Jimmy Garoppolo from what I understand. Jimmy Garoppolo, and it's not necessarily stylistic. I mean, he's a pocket quarterback. And he throws a nice ball when he's healthy, I guess. But I think from Shanahan's perspective, he has to manufacture everything for Jimmy Garoppolo. Everything is a throw in the flat that produces yards after the catch, a play action pass where a guy's wide open. Everything is manufactured. And you can manufacture stuff on first down, on second down, on third down when you have a lead. But I think Shanahan's point is a coach can't manufacture easy throws for a quarterback forever. Eventually, there's going to come a time, third and long, or in the fourth quarter when you're losing, when you got to just drop straight back and throw, and everyone knows it. The fans know it. The defense know it. And there's nothing the coach can really do for you at that point. I mean, he can call some pass patterns that are clever, but honestly, the quarterback's going to see the most sophisticated blitzes and pressure packages and the most sophisticated coverages that are disguised. That's the highest degree of difficulty in quarterbacking. And Kyle Shanahan doesn't have anyone who can succeed in that. In fact, if you look at the advanced stats for Jimmy Garoppolo from 2019, he was among the worst quarterbacks in the league on straight 5-step and 7-step drops with no play action. And that shows you what Kyle Shanahan thinks of him. It's like, all your numbers are manufactured by me and my scheme. But when I need you to be the superhero $27 million a year quarterback who can just drop back and win, like in the fourth quarter of a Super Bowl, when we're losing, you can't do it. You don't read the field well enough. You don't move around the pocket well enough. You don't throw downfield well enough. There are too many limitations to your game to be that kind of a drop back passer at a successful rate in the NFL. Now, there's not many quarterbacks who can just drop back and be good. Peyton Manning could. Ben Roethlisberger can. Matt Ryan can't. Matt Ryan largely was a product of Kyle Shanahan's system and him manufacturing play action throws. He's not Peyton Manning. What you're looking for is Peyton Manning. You're looking for Ben Roethlisberger. You're looking for Tom Brady if you're not looking for the dual threat, if you want the pocket quarterback. And so when I see Mac Jones, I see a guy who has the best offensive line in college football and the best running back in college football. And everything flows off of that. He has a great play action game. And then when it's time to finally throw, when he gets to do the play action pass and the linebackers bite, he's throwing to the best wide receiver in college football, Devontae Smith. So I don't know. To me, he looks like Jimmy Garoppolo, but worse. He looks like Jimmy Garoppolo. Same size, same advantages, same manufactured production, same lack of mobility. He never runs. He doesn't run at all. He might move around a little bit, but he doesn't run. I think he has like 30 rushes in his career. So I don't know. I think Shanahan looks at him and be like, yeah, he's a product. Could you hear any of that? He's a product of, he's a product of that scheme and talent the way that Jimmy's a product of my scheme and the talent around here. So then you look at Trask. The reason I think Kyle's going to like Trask is because all Trask does is straight 3-step drops and 5-step drops from the gun. That's all he does. They have no run game. He's not a product of a great offensive line. He has his right tackle at Florida makes Mike McGlinchey look like Trent Brown, Joe Staley. He doesn't have a good offensive line. He doesn't have a running game. He has great weapons to throw to, but there's no deception. It's just drop straight back behind a so-so offensive line at best, no run game. The defense knows what you're going to do and succeed. And he does. I mean, he doesn't throw picks. He throws a lot of touchdowns. He completes 69% of his passes. He's basically off the charts with a very difficult job. And what Shanahan can look at him is be like, all right, well, imagine Kyle Trask if you gave him a run game. Imagine Kyle Trask if you gave him play action. Like his job on the Niners would be easier than it is at Florida. Florida is just, hey, man, we need you, buddy. Drop back and 50 times a game and win the game for us. And he mostly does. When they don't win, it's because their defense gave up 52 points. I just think Kyle Shanahan is not really looking for that. I don't think he cares what the 40 time is on a quarterback. I think he's looking for which one of these quarterbacks can actually do something that I don't manufacture. It's not Lance. I mean, the stuff that Lance and Fields can do, stuff that you're not manufacturing is running. I don't think he cares. I think he wants a guy who can drop back and bring you back when you're down 2 touchdowns late in the game, who can lead a 2-minute drill at the end of the first half. Kyle doesn't trust Jimmy Garoppolo to lead a 2-minute drill. Someone who can do that, who can lead the offense where there's no possibility of running, when there's no deception. That's what he's looking for. And I think he's going to see it in Trask because that's what Trask does. Something to look for. I'm trying to help you look at this through Shanahan's eyes, which may not be the right eyes to look for because he doesn't have the greatest track record, but he's the guy who's picking, so you might as well at least know what he's thinking. or try to figure it out. Finally, and then I'll take some questions. I'm sorry. I had a lot to say. Jason Verrett. I don't think people talk about him enough and give him like the full credit and context of what he's done for this team. He has transformed this defense. He might be the co-MVP of the defense along with Fred Warner. And honestly, he might be even more important. Fred Warner is the best player on the defense, but Jason Verrett might be the most valuable player. Let me make the case. Week 1, the Niners played the Arizona Cardinals and lost. And they gave up 24 points. Okay? They lost 24-20. Week 16, they play the Cardinals and they win. They win 20-12. What's different? The defense. The offense was about the same. Jeff Wilson Jr. was a nice addition, but it was about the same in both games. The difference was Jason Verrett played in week 16 and didn't play in week 1. Week 1, the cornerbacks were Emmanuel Mosley and Richard Sherman. And Richard Sherman was doing that thing where he covers grass and doesn't really make an impact and then says that he did his job and his Pro Football Focus grade was good. Emmanuel Mosley was doing the best he could to cover DeAndre Hopkins man-to-man. He failed. You got to love Emmanuel Mosley. He's just not the kind of guy who can man up against the best wide receivers in the league. There's not that many cornerbacks like that. Niners haven't had a cornerback like that since Eric Davis and Deion Sanders in the mid-90s. They're rare. Well, Jason Verrett is one, apparently. I mean, we knew that he was one when he came out of TCU in those first couple of years with the Chargers, but he was out for 5 years. I mean, forgive me if I wrote him off. I'm sure you probably did too. He comes back and he shuts down DeAndre Hopkins. Wow. I mean, of all the plays that were really great last against the Arizona, how about his pass breakup in the end zone against DeAndre Hopkins? All it is in the box score is a PBU, but it's the difference in the game. It's what the Niners couldn't do week 1 against Arizona. And now it's like, well, geez, if the Niners have a corner who's that good and who can match up like that against freaking DeAndre Hopkins, then maybe they don't need to spend a first-round pick on a corner. But what they got to do is re-sign him. They got to re-sign Jason Verrett. And I'm trying to make, like, yeah, K'Wan Williams is important and Jimmy Ward is versatile, but Jason Verrett is the guy who can man up against the best, against DeAndre Hopkins. Jimmy Ward can't do that. And Jimmy Ward's good at what he's not supposed to do that. He's a safety. But what Jason Verrett does is so valuable. Fred Warner can't do it. Nick Bosa can't do it. You need someone who can actually hang man-to-man with the best wide receivers in your division, and Jason Verrett can do it. That's huge. They got him for nothing. He was in the scrap heap. I don't know what he's going to cost them this offseason, but he is got to be right there at number. It's got to be like Warner, Williams, and then Jason Verrett. More important than anyone else. Juszczyk, love you, dude, but you're a fullback. You can't cover DeAndre Hopkins. Am I overstating this? I think this is really important. Jason Verrett needs to be on the Niners next year. Guy's really important. I mean, Robert Saleh, give him a ton of credit. He wouldn't be doing this, what he's doing this year without Jason Verrett. All the great ideas that Robert Saleh has, they wouldn't work if Jason Verrett couldn't lock down DeAndre Hopkins man-to-man. So, guys, Jason Verrett, re-sign him. All right. That's basically all I had. I got a question here. Kyle, the coach who didn't scout Mahomes, yeah, good luck in the draft. Yeah, good point. I do hope Jed hires you so he can fire you. That's hilarious. Why did Kyle, here, let's talk about it like that. Why did Kyle not draft Mahomes? Well, I think back then what Kyle was thinking is, look, Mahomes is in the shotgun all the time. Deshaun Watson's in the shotgun all the time. I coach an under center offense. They can't come on onto my team and play right away. They don't really do that. It would take them some time. They'd have to sit on the bench for a year and learn how to play from under center. Plus, I want to be manufacturing throws with play action and have my guys under center and turning their back to the defense, all that stuff. I need to see a quarterback do that in college. I need to see a quarterback get under center, turn his back to the defense, play action, throw downfield. Well, That's a really terrible way to scout quarterbacks in 2020 because there aren't that many quarterbacks who do that. And basically, you're scouting the scheme at that point. What he did was he turned on the Iowa tape and was like, I love this scheme. It's kind of like my offense. It's pro style. Hey, look, the quarterback's under center. Hey, CJ Beathard turned his back to the defense and wasn't freaked out and then made a throw. He can do what I want him to do. That's the wrong way to scout. Because to me, you can coach that, Kyle. You can coach that. You can teach a guy. That's what Andy Reid did. They drafted Mahomes and sat him on the bench. That's what Jim Harbaugh did. They drafted Colin Kaepernick. They sat him on the bench. They taught him how to get under center when necessary. You could do that too. You don't need a guy who can throw play action passes. You need a guy who can throw drop back passes. That's harder. You can teach play action. You really can't teach the drop back stuff. Either a guy can do it or not. Deshaun Watson can do it. Patrick Mahomes can do it. In fact, they're two of the best to ever do it. That's what you want, Kyle. And I think he gets that now. You can teach the play action stuff. You can't teach the straight drop back stuff. That is the rare ability. That is what CJ will never be good at. That is what the Niners don't have. That is not Trey Lance. He's not going to be a straight drop back passer in the NFL. He's going to need to use his legs as much as possible. It could be Kyle Trask. That's what I'm thinking there. So that's what I'm thinking there. Luca, Grant, who do you want the Niners to draft as a quarterback, and also who would be a good signing for the bridge quarterback? I'm trying to be as clear as possible. Draft Trask, sign. Who would you sign? Andy Dalton's fine. Andy Dalton would be fine. Ryan Fitzpatrick would be fine. If you could get Mitchell Trubisky, he would be great. But just draft. The thing about Kyle Trask is he is going to start right away, and he's going to be good. Was it good that the 49ers won? I think it was, yes. I think it absolutely was. They're not going to get the second pick in the draft. They're not going to get Zach Wilson. Tanking doesn't really help them. The quarterback that they need is currently ranked outside of the top 50. They need to trade down anyway. I think this win is good because it's against a divisional opponent. It shows, now they're going to lose Robert Saleh, but they're not going to lose Fred Warner. A lot of these guys on the defense, Jason Verrett, it shows them that they can shut down Arizona. They can shut down the Rams. It's a big confidence booster coming into next season. I think the Niners need the mental edge this offseason. If they go in to this offseason losing like 8 of their last 9, how can they tell themselves that they weren't just a one-off, that they weren't just a fluke team? If they can have a couple good games down the stretch and run the ball again, play great defense, they can be like, look, we have the formula's still there. Our coaches are great. We're winning with backup talent. We just need one thing. We just need a quarterback. We just need one thing. And I think that kind of hope is big. You know? Now, what really is going to help is getting the right quarterback. And if this was going to prevent them from getting the right quarterback, then no, it wouldn't have been good. But I don't think it. Zach Wilson's going to go number 2. He's going to get drafted by the Jets. They're going to ruin him. He's going to be a bust. The Niners get a chance to get him in a few years. But until then, the choice is Trey Lance or Kyle Trask. That's basically the choice. And if this win takes the choice away from the Niners and makes it so they can't get Trey Lance, good, because that's just a mistake. He may work out on another team where he gets to run. He may work out on, like, you know, if he got to go to, like, I don't know, would be a good fit. Would be a good fit for Trey Lance. I don't know. The Patriots? I think they prefer Kyle Trask, though, honestly. So, I don't know. Yeah, it's good the Niners won. Winning is good. Yeah, Baltimore would be perfect, but they don't need a quarterback. New England, but I still think New England would prefer. I think Kyle Trask is exactly what they look for in a quarterback. Like, he's perfect for them. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, Wilson it's not a topic for the Niners. He's gone. The topic is Trey Lance. Do you want to make that mistake? Felipe Franks need a shot? I mean, that's the guy who lost his job to Trask, right? Nah, I'm all good with him. The guy that I like, and I've talked about him, is Kellen Mond. he's a dual threat quarterback from Texas A&M. But to me, again, he's like Fields, and he's like Lance. Like, yeah, he's good, but he needs to be in the shotgun, running the zone read and the RPO, and he needs to be running the ball a lot. He's not just going to drop back and win as a quarterback. He needs to run. So I don't know if he fits the Niners, but if a team wants, I see the Raiders as trying to move that direction. I don't think they want to be the straight drop back team. I think they want to bring in some college element. I think Gruden wants to update his offense in that way. I think he wanted Kyler Murray. I think he likes the idea of Marcus Mariota, although Mariota may not be a starter. I think that team could take a quarterback like him. Maybe the Niners could get Derek Carr in that sense. Derek Carr would be a better fit on the Niners than on the Raiders because Derek Carr actually has a big arm. And the reason he's so conservative about throwing the ball down the field to me is because John Gruden is anal and a micromanager and wants every throw to be 3 yards. He just does. And that's much better for a guy like Marcus Mariota. Derek Carr, you put him on the Niners, put him under center and let him throw downfield to George Kittle, he'd be great. Honestly. Kittle and Derek Carr together would be a terrific combination. Not to mention all the easy throws to Debo and Ayuk. Yeah, Derek Carr would be way better on the Niners than on the Raiders. So that would be something to look for. If the Raiders don't like Derek Carr, they scapegoat him for their problems and bring in someone like Lance or Fields, and the Niners can get Carr. I might prefer him to Wentz. I don't know. Something to think about. Could we afford Dak? I don't think so. I think Dak's just too expensive. But again, Dak would be perfect as well. Imagine Dak Prescott on this team being able to hand off to Jeff Wilson Jr. and Raheem Mostert. I mean, yeah, he has Ezekiel Elliott, but Ezekiel Elliott's kind of old. I mean, he's not old, but he's got a lot of tread on his tires. He's kind of slow. That offense is just terrible. There's not a lot of easy completions in Dallas. Here, it's way easier. Dak would be great here, but I don't think they're going to get him. Coach, Saleh gets a head coaching job. Niners get a 3rd-round pick from an NFL minority hiring program. It's true. Why won't Kyle listen to you with special teams? That's a good question because he listens to me with everything else. He loves my input. But in this, he just doesn't listen. He needs to be using Brandon Ayuk as the full-time returner. Having, I don't know, who was it last time? River Craycraft? I don't get it. I just don't get it. Now, maybe to be fair, maybe what's going on, okay, hold on. Luke, I'm going to get to you in a second, is that maybe in practice, Brandon Ayuk is not doing well returning punts. Maybe he drops a lot of balls. Maybe they're trying to get him prepared and he's not doing well in practice. Maybe he has ball security issues. I don't know. I'll give Kyle Shanahan the benefit of the doubt. I don't get to see practice. So next year during training camp, I'm going to keep a close eye on Ayuk and see if he drops punts. Because if he doesn't, then Kyle Shanahan doesn't have an excuse. I don't care about the injury excuse. That's baloney. Give me one example of a punt returner getting hurt, return to punt. And if you can give me one example, then give me 2. Luca, Grant, how do you get into sports journalism and how did you get your job, if you wouldn't mind telling, because your job is cool as hell? Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think you really do get into sports journalism. I don't think I've gotten into sports journalism yet. It's impossible to get jobs. There's like 2 of them. I think basically what you do is you just start doing it. You want to write? You write. Now, what helps you is to read and take English classes. I would recommend being an English major in college instead of a journalism major, because I think you could probably learn journalism. You could read a book. But to learn writing and what good writing is, that takes years. So I would recommend be an English major and just start doing it. If you got something to say it, tweet it, write it. You see how people get started. People write for me. I like to give people a platform. Basically, you got to create yourself a platform. You got to create yourself a platform. You can't wait for The Athletic or ESPN or one of these places to give you a platform and make you a star. Because I don't know, maybe it'll happen. Never happened for me. I just say really crazy things on Twitter and then I get more followers and that's a bigger platform. And, I don't know. Just start. The younger you start, the better. Because that way, like me, I was terrible in my 20s, but you stick around, then you hit 32 and people are like, you've been around a long time. I don't really remember how bad you used to be in 2013, and people forget. So that's what I would say. Get started young. Don't take no for an answer. Just give yourself the job. You want a radio show? Start one. That's basically what I did. This is a radio show. 95.7 and KMBR haven't given me the offer yet. So you know what? Let's just do it on my own and from my bedroom. Seems to work. That's the thing. In the 80s, it would be very difficult. You'd really, if you're asking my dad this question in 1985, he'd be like, well, you got to call this person, get to know this person, send your things to this person. In 2020, it's like the cameras on your computer, just broadcast. If you want to write, you could write for me, you could write for the Web Zone. There's all kind of places with big platforms who'll be willing to let you write. And you're not going to get paid at first, but what you need is a platform. You need people to know who you are. So, and then you got to be crazy like me. So when you have people's attention, you don't lose it. You just got to say stupid stuff. Use talking voices, That's what I tried to do. It works for me. I'm not going to say what I'm laughing at, but it's funny. Stafford has to be on Kyle's radar. He has the toughness factor Kyle loves, and he's somewhat mobile. Yeah, I mean, wouldn't Stafford have to be on everyone's radar? If Stafford's available, who wouldn't want him? He's great. He's terrific. Yeah, absolutely. I just don't, I don't see Detroit doing that. But if I change my mind, I'll come back to you on that one, Brandon. It just seems like that's like the one thing Detroit has going for it is Matt Stafford. Once you lose him, you're like 2 years away from even starting to rebuild because you still have other big contracts on the roster that they signed because they're trying to compete with Stafford. So I don't know. They're just going to tear it down. They're going to bring in a new. See, what happens is if they bring in a new coach and then tear it down, that coach is going to get fired. They're not at the beginning of the rebuild. They haven't even started a rebuild yet. So it's like when the Raiders brought in Dennis Allen, it's like, ooh, you can have this job, but we really stink. And we're going to be dismantling our roster for the next few years. And you're going to lose like 40 games and we're going to have to fire someone. So, it'll be something you can put on your resume. Detroit's not trading Stafford, guys. You see what I'm saying? Unless they want to just be irrelevant for the next 3 years and hire some coach and then fire him. More likely, what Detroit's going to want to hear when they hire a coach is someone who can say, look, I can give Matt Stafford the run game he's never had. Keep Matt Stafford. I can bring in a run game, and it's not expensive. Look at Jeff Wilson Jr. in San Francisco. You don't have to spend big money. It's all about scheme. I can do it. Maybe, you bring someone in who's better than maybe bring in Robert Saleh and Mike McDaniel. They could do it. You give Matt Stafford the 49ers run game coordinator. Richard Sherman's calf injury, fake or real? I have no idea. I have a feeling it's been real all year, and it's been one of those things where it's like, is it worth it for him to play through it? And it no longer is. And I'm guessing the Niners told him, hey, heal up. You're hurt. You're terrible. But instead of benching you, we're going to say, hey, you're hurt. So you save face. You can't bench Richard Sherman, right? Unless you want World War III. So you say, Richard, you're hurt. You're very hurt. You can see it on film. You're not yourself. So season's over. You're old. You're going to need a new contract. Shut it down. So I think it's real, in a sense. Is Spoon our CB2 next year? I don't know if they can afford him and Verrett. I think it'll be Verrett and Mosley and a rookie. I think Spoon might leave. It seemed like Spoon's got a little resentment towards the organization. I don't know where he's going to go. He might go with Salah. Everyone likes Salah. I have a feeling that Witherspoon doesn't like Kyle Shanahan anymore. I have a feeling Witherspoon is like a more mentally tough version of Dante Pettis, but they probably have the same beef with that guy. I have not spoken to Mullins about his elbow. I'm leaving him alone. Oof, I feel bad for him. Oh. Is that a wall behind me? Yeah, that's a wall. Behind this is my this is covering up my walk-in closet. This is a wall. This is a corner. And that's my bed over there. I got my dresser over here. I got a little I used to have that's a window. And I used to use the sunlight to light this, but now I have professional lighting. That's the best I can do. I live in a one-bedroom apartment. I wanted to ask I wanted to crowdsource some ideas. So I'm thinking about buying a new car with my wife. And I wanted to know what you guys thought. If you guys had, because I've never bought a car before. And what we would like is a two-door, because we don't have kids yet. And we think that'd be kind of cool to get a coupe. And I've been looking online a little bit, and she doesn't drive stick. I do. So we're not going to get a stick. But yeah, I do want kids, but we can sell this car in a few years and get a new car when we have kids. But right now, thinking a two-door. I did some research on Edmunds this morning, and I saw that the Toyota makes something called an 86 that I'd never heard of. That looks quite snazzy. It looks pretty snazzy. So does anyone ever heard of the Toyota 86? Is it a good car? It looks pretty cool. Now, Subaru would be fun. I don't think my wife would want to drive a Subaru. That's got a lot of horsepower. I'd be cool. Yeah, the BRZ or whatever. Yeah, that'd be cool. But I don't think I can sell that one on her. I think the Toyota, we have the 86 though, Camaro. I don't think I can sell it, the Camaro on her. All cars have problems. Thanks, Joe. That really helps, Joe. What are we supposed to do? Horse and buggy? What are we supposed to do? Geo Metro? I don't know about no Geo Metro. Dodge Challenger? American Muscle? See, I think if I get an American Muscle car, it'll have to be my own car. I don't think she's going to go for American Muscle. I think we're going to have to go Toyota here. And I think I didn't know they made a two-door car. I had no idea. It looks pretty snazzy to me. It looks snazzy. So I was wondering. Subarus are fun. My friend has a WRX I really like. I don't really want to get a BMW because I'm Jewish. That's how I feel. I just wouldn't go German. I'm sorry. Just wouldn't get a German car. Sorry. Does that make me prejudiced? It was 80 years ago. I'm just not getting a German car. Sorry. I wouldn't do that. Now, I know it's kind of hypocritical, like buying a Japanese car, but it's not really a World War II thing. It's more like a Holocaust thing. You know? So I just wouldn't get the German car. That's just me. Can I finally show my baby pics? Why are you trying to see my baby pics, bro? Maybe. But I don't have them. They're at my parents' house in a time capsule. None of you guys. Why am I Jewish? Because my dad is Jewish and his dad was Jewish, going back for thousands of years. So none of you guys really had any Tesla. Teslas look like, I don't really like them. That's how I feel. They don't look that cool. Sorry. So my mom is Catholic, it's true. Mustang GT Coupe, 10-speed auto. Yeah. Okay. Well, you guys didn't really help me out on that one. A Lamborghini? Yeah. All right. I was walking through the Whole Foods parking lot the other day, and I saw like a black coupe two-door. I was like, oh, that's exactly what I'm looking for. That is the car that I've been looking for. And I walked up, Ferrari. A few days before that, I saw a white one driving down the street. I was like, no, that is the two-door coupe that I've been looking for. Jaguar F-Type. I'm like, come on. I mean, I make a ton of money, but not that much. So I'm thinking the Toyota 86. If you heard anything, Edmunds gave it a real nice write-up. Edmunds liked it. So Evo, no, I'm not getting an Evo. What's my budget? $1 million, give or take. Acura, I used to drive an Acura RSX Type S. which was dope. But Acura doesn't make two-door cars anymore, really. And the TLX is really expensive. So I don't really think I'm going to get an Acura. I was looking at an Acura. I don't think that's the way to go in 2020. I used to like Acuras, though. All right. All right. See, you guys know more about football than cars. I don't know the first thing about cars. You lost faith in Trubisky to the Niners? I think he's playing too well. I think Chicago's going to keep him. He's really playing quite well. So, I don't know. If they don't keep him, get that guy. What about offensive linemen? Yeah, you got to do that. And that's why I say trade down. Because it's looking like Trask is going to be someone you can get in the second round, kind of like where the Patriots got Jimmy Garoppolo. So trade down. Get an offensive lineman. Get a center, a guard, and a tackle. If they could get 3 offensive linemen in this draft, that would be just amazing. Amazing. Volvo C70, look it up. All right, I'm going to check it out. I appreciate you guys helping me. Get the Q70. I can't afford that, dog. I don't even know what that is, actually. If you were so rich, why you grind so hard? Because how you get rich if you don't grind? You kidding? 100% of my money comes from ad revenue. How am I going to make money if I don't be grinding? Now, fortunately, I know how to make that paper. So now I'm looking for that 86. That Toyota 86. You feel me? Okay? Because I make that paper. Maybe one day you're making that ad revenue too. Kevin Wang is 12. That's funny. Probably. Why buy just lease and get a new car every other year? Because I want to be able to have a little, because we have a Corolla, we can sell that in and get a little value, and now the car's a little cheaper. See what I'm saying? Go use Lexus. I don't know, man. I like the way Lexuses look more back in the 90s. Lexuses were cool. Like rappers would rap about pushing a Lexus in the 90s. They would also rap about pushing Acuras in the 90s. Like a Legend was a cool car. Like you don't hear any rapper talking about his TLX. You just don't. And the thing is, I base 95% of my purchasing decisions on rap videos and songs. I mean, what do you listen to the lyrics for? I'm trying to say, like, what kind of shoes are you wearing? What kind of jeans do you wear? Although I only wear American denim. I don't wear that crap from Europe. Are you kidding? And then what kind of cars are you wearing? Are you driving in your video? That's what I want to know. So I lost my train of thought on that one, but you understand where I get my inspiration from. What's your question? People keep saying, answer my question. I don't know what your question is. What is up with the 49ers? Well, they keep losing, except for the last week. Ride a horse. I would. Hold on. Hey, Grant, how does it feel to have the burden of your name being Grant? I don't know. It's not a burden. I like it. It's a good name. You strike me as a Subaru Outback kind of guy. Hell no. No, absolutely not. I'm not. I'm no. I like the idea of a two-door car for a lot of reasons, mostly personal. I don't feel like sharing them, but I like the idea of a two-door car. One day I'll get a sensible mid-sized sedan, a sensible car, but I'm not there yet. I want to have something a little unsensible. What's the word? I don't know. Corvette mid-engine? Yeah, one day. That'll be my car, not our car. Great. You and Kittle BFFs? That's a really good question. I actually want to ask your opinion. Then I'm going to go. Does Kittle like me or does he not? I can't read him. I'm from California. He's from the Midwest. Midwest people are different. They're all very nice. And even if they don't like you, they'll go out of their way to be polite and nice. They'll like kill you with kindness. So I don't know if he's like killing me with kindness or if he gets a kick out of my shtick. What do you guys think? Some days I think, okay, he really likes my shtick. He gets me. Other days I'm like, no, I bothered him with that one tweet I said, and this is his way. This is his very polite Midwestern way of saying, shove it. So I don't know. I don't know. I just don't. I didn't grow up with people from Iowa. I don't know. Get rid of him. Replace him. I can't believe the Niners thought Richburg was coming back. They wasted a year. A big reason this season went to hell in a handbasket is because they were counting on Richburg to come back, for goodness sake. Same thing with D Ford. That's how my grandma would talk, my Italian grandma. Go to hell in a handbasket. Criminy. Okay, I see Corvette mid-engine. When I'm 45 and I can get my second car, I'll do it. All right. All right, I'm going to go eat dinner. Thanks for watching and donating and asking questions and participating. I'll be back tomorrow with Vish. And then the next day with my pops. And I will see you later. Take care.